Have you ever felt that your cards were incomplete because the inside had nothing on them? Well, I have 10 different ways to complete the inside of a handmade card. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel with the Altenew Crafty Creator team, and in this video, I'll be sharing my 10 tips and tricks for finishing the inside of handmade cards. I think the most obvious way to complete the inside of a card is to stamp a sentiment inside the card. For this card, the outside sentiment says just a note. So I think a sub-sentiment inside the card would be a great fit. I've chosen a sentiment that says, here's a little note to say thank you for the inside of the card. I've already placed my card panel on an A2 top folding card base. So in order to get a perfect sentiment stamped, I'll use my Altenew Stamp Wheel 2.0, which has one removable side. This way, I can hang the top of my card off of the stamp wheel and double stamp the sentiment on the inside of the card with no problem. Another way to finish off the inside of a card is to add a little bit of ink blending. I picked a color of ink which coordinated with the colors on my card panel and used a small Altenew blending brush to create a bit of blending on the bottom inside of the card. I purposefully left the center of the blending as the lightest area. This way, I would have no trouble seeing my handwritten message on it. A quick and easy way to complete the inside of the card is to add some washi tape. It can be a gold foil tape or a pretty pattern that coordinates with the outside of the card, but it really just takes a minute to add a bit of washi at the bottom of the card on the inside for a very pretty look. You can also add die cuts to the inside of your cards. I like to mimic some element on the card panel inside the card, so I chose some of the flower dies from the outside of the card in one of the cardstock colors that I used. Then I simply adhered them down to one corner of the inside at the bottom, still leaving plenty of space for a handwritten message. Speaking of colorful cardstock, you can add strips of cardstock to the inside of the card. I chose 2 colors of cardstock that I had used on the card panel, and this time I placed them vertically, copying the vertical look of the door on the outside of the card. This is a great way to use up cardstock scraps and adds a punch of color to an otherwise plain white card inside. You can even add stenciling inside your cards. I used the same stencil inside the card as I used outside, and I used a similar color. But for the inside, I used a much lighter hand in stenciling so that I could still add my message. Embellishments like Altenew enamel dots work on the inside of cards too. A few enamel dots in coordinating colors to the card panel add a simple way to add a bit of color and shine to the inside of your card. Another way to add some color and shine to the inside of the card is to add a swipe of Altenew Shimmer Relief Paste. Just a nice swipe in the center adds a touch of metallic shine. Just be sure the shimmer paste is 100% dry before closing the card. You can also add a stamped image inside your card. I grabbed the same stamp set I used for the outside of the card, but instead of heat embossing and then coloring it in, I simply used a green ink. I only stamped a partial image in the bottom corner of the card, but it does add some special interest to the inside. Another way to add interest to cards is to add a bit of spritz. I added some of the Altenew Antique Gold Metallic Ink Spray to the card panel, and then I added a bit of the same spray to the inside of the card. I think less is more here, because if you start with a little, you can always add more, but if you add a lot, you can't take it away. My favorite method for adding this gold spritz is to undo the cap and tap the nozzle over my project. I hope you enjoyed this video seeing 10 different ways to finish the inside of a handmade card. I'd love to hear which one was your favorite idea today.
Loved watching this video. There is more where that came from here on the Altenew official YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell button so you don't miss out on any of the crafty fun. See you soon and happy crafting.